Hello everyone, welcome back to another process video. I am continuing to work on my photos from New York City. So I just have a one-page layout today. There is something on the other side, however I'm not going to work on that right now. So we're just going to focus on these photos. And this right here, kind of hard to see, is the New York City Public Library, the central one that's downtown. What's on the left-hand page is actually photos from the outside, kind of more in detail, and I'm really struggling with them. So I'm choosing to kind of just pass by them right now and focus on this. So this is kind of out front of the library. If you're actually looking around kind of 180 degrees, can't see behind the library, but this is around kind of this semicircle here. So I took some photos just of things that I thought were interesting, buildings across the street, some details in a pillar that's out front, and I'm going to make that its own page. And I already picked out this particular card. It doesn't say New York City specifically, but it does say Big City Adventure, so I figure that that's accurate. And Concrete Jungle, definitely. And I thought it worked because if you look closely, there's a blue tint, oops, there we go, in this building, as well as in this one. It's a little harder to see here, but where it looks like the eye here, there is a blue tint there as well. So that's what I'm going with for this particular layout. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that all I do is travel scrapping, at least on this channel. And I have all of these phrases here that I have purchased mainly from digital files and digital kits, and then print them out and use them in my albums. So I'm going to go through here and see what I can find. This blue on several of these would be perfect, but I'm not sure the phrases are going to work. So I'm going to go through there and see what I can find to use on these photos. So these are all the different phrases I found that I thought would work. There's a lot of that blue in there. I found just a few that kind of had other colors, like this one that says right now, that's actually brown. Then I have this one that says Big City, which is gray in the background. And then this one I like because it does give a nice dark contrast. However, it's too long to fit on these 3x4 photos. So what I would probably do is just cut off this part. So it would just say Amazing Place, and then you'd get that blue in there. So not sure how that would work, but I'm going to go through these and kind of hold them up to each photo and figure out which ones will work the best. I think I've selected what I'm going to use. I think I'm just going to have the one on this one. As you can see though, it's a little bit too long. Same problem as the other one, but this one I don't have to cut off too much. So I will trim that maybe to go exactly edge to edge, not sure yet. I think I'm going to leave this one alone just because I've got bright color here. If these both have phrases, I think having it here as well would be a little too much. I think I might leave that one alone. And then on this one, I did trim off that excess so that I could just get the Amazing Place. And then I have this one that says Today's Adventure. Not sure about this one, but as you can see, whoops, put that back on there. It's got this line down here, which you're meant to write something there. I may trim that off so that it just says Today's Adventure and you don't see this part, and then stack it on top of that one. Otherwise, I feel like it's covering up too much of the pillar. I mean, granted, there's nothing here, but it looks funny, I think, just to have this, excuse me, sorry, I have a frog in my throat today. I apologize. I think it looks kind of funny to just have this block standing out of nowhere. So I think I may trim that down just so I see a little bit more of the base down there. I'm starting with this photo, and I did decide to adhere this on. I'm just going to cut off the edges, so that'll be a pretty easy fix here. So I'm going to take my sharper scissors and just get those edges off of there. There we go. There, so now we have some even edges, and I think I'm going to put some staples in there. I'm really into the stapling thing for this album. I just think it adds a nice little visual contrast. It really isn't doing anything because I've already adhered it. It's not like it's holding it down. There are a few cases where having a staple in there actually helped to hold things down, but for this, it's just purely the look of it. All right. So that's what it looks like once it's adhered, and then the staples are in there. So that's all I'm going to do with this one. So that was a super easy fix. And then, since I had the one photo where I wasn't doing anything, I'm just going to put that there. So you can kind of see over on the left here. Then this one. So I'm going to have to figure out, am I cutting this one or not, and adhering them and all of that. And then I'm going to do this card last. I did adhere this one just so I could kind of see placement and how that would look. And when I hold this up there, I do think it's too wide. It's too much. So you miss almost the entire base. So I am going to cut above that dotted line there and then see if that gives me some extra space. I did cut this one, and I actually cut off even more above that dotted line. I just thought it really needed to be narrower. And then I thought there was too much space on either side of the letters as well. So I trimmed off some on both sides. I left a little bit more room here so that I can put in a staple. So let's put that on there and see how it looks. And because when I cut it, it wasn't completely straight, shocking. That was too small a piece to use my trimmer, so I just eyeballed it and used my sharp scissors, the tiny ones. So I'm going to overlap it a little bit, and then hopefully you won't notice that it's, slightly uneven along the bottom there. I just want a tiny little overlap, not a huge amount. Maybe like that. Yeah, it was a little too close before. That's better, I think. Let's see. Yeah, oh, you know what? It's not even overlapping on this end. A little bit more. Oh, the challenges of scrapping. Now that side's a little too high. Pull that down a little. There we go. That's better placement, I think. Who knew that I'd have to fuss so much with that? All right, so let's put in the staple. And now I'm wondering if I should do one on both of them or put it right in the middle. I think I'm going to do middle. Yeah, there we go. All right, so I have those on there. And now that photo is done. All right, so that just leaves this. And I'm going to do my journaling off camera as I normally do. But I feel like this just needs something. I'm not sure what. So I'm going to see if I have like a tiny stamp that would work that's travel related that I could put up here or maybe even down here. I'm not sure, but I feel like it needs something. And I'm going to journal in black, I'm sure. But when you look at all of these photos, there's a lot of brown in there. So I'm wondering if, and even this one, I think is almost a dark brown that looks almost black there. I'm wondering if I should use a very dark brown ink when I stamp on this. So not sure. I'm going to go through my stuff, see what I find, and see how I feel about the color. So as I was looking through things to figure out what to do with this card, I've decided, or at least I think I'm going to try some stamping, but I'm actually going to do it under the location and date areas rather than handwriting that. I figured if I'm going to journal, all down here, I might be able to stamp something here and do that in brown. So I'm going to test it first just to be sure, because it makes me nervous to stamp right in here on brown and then go, oh, I don't like it. Now this is a digital card from a file that I bought. So I could reprint it, but I'd love not to. I'd love to just get it right the first time. So I have my scrap here, and then these are the stamps I'm going to use. I have this set specific to New York. This is from Kelly Perky, and I'm just going to ink this part that says NYC to put in the location. And then I have this set from Citrus Twist, and there's a 2017 in there. So I'm just gonna use that for the date part. For my samples, my trial run, I tried out Early Espresso ink from Stampin' Up! And then I tried the Soft Suede, which I've used before, and I ended up liking this one better. That's this color right here. This was a little too dark, like almost black, I think. So I like the way that this looks much better. So I think I'm going to go with the Soft Suede, and then I'm going to not ink the eye and the heart and just do the NYC. I did the 2017 already, and now I'm going to do the NYC and hope that it goes well. I got one tiny little ink thing that I kind of caught there, but it's not enough to make me redo it. In the long run, I may be the only person that notices it, so that's okay. So I like it. Doesn't bother me that these fonts don't match. I like it to be eclectic. I'm not a stickler for things having to be exactly the same font. So I think I'm going to leave it. And then I still feel like maybe it needs something down here. Maybe I'm being too picky. Let's put it all together and see. Maybe it doesn't because I'm going to journal in here. You know what? Maybe I'm just going to end up leaving it that way. Let's put it in here. See how it looks. You can line it up all you want, but for me, I really need to see it actually like in the pockets, how it looks behind that page protector before I can totally make my decision. Does anybody else have that problem? Maybe it's just me. All right, so let's get all those in there. There we go. And let's see here. You know, I think it's okay because the journaling will be in black, as I've done with every other one. I want to stay consistent with that. And I think this is enough, especially because I know what's on the left-hand page and it's really busy. There's a lot going on. So I think it's okay to have this one be a little bit more subdued, a little more subtle. So I think this one is done. So thanks everybody for watching. See you next time.